Hi, everybody.
Hello, everyone. Hi.
What's going on?
This is so exciting.
Happy anniversary, ladies.
We did it a whole year.
Seriously?
Congratulations.
Cannot believe it's been a full year.
That's so wild.
Absolutely
So wild.
insane. I looked at my husband last night and I was like, we've been together what have we done together for 7 years? I kind of feel that way about this podcast. What have we done for an entire year? 12 months have passed.
A lot.
Talking.
Oh yeah, lots of talking.
So many friends made.
I don't know if people realize that when we do a podcast episode, it is about an hour of recording and an extra 3 hours on top of that just chatting. So
Basically.
Yeah.
Sometimes we plan after chat things during recording.
this is true. This is true. If you listen, you will know that sometimes that happens.
So, the big question, which I would love everybody to answer, and I'm sorry I gotta do it. I know that we're all about like being realistic in things and not like being completely fake because we are truly just faking it. But how many percents better are you now versus 1 year ago? And I gotta preface it, positive answers only. We all know that we have failed on some fronts in some parts of our life. We're not focused on that shit right now. We're focused on the positives.
I need to go look at what I looked like a year ago to refresh my memory of what state of life I was in.
That's a really good idea.
I'm gonna do that.
Do I even have photos from a year ago? Where do I even look for that?
Last year around this time, or maybe a little bit before, was when I cut my hair off. So like that was a big transformation for me, like having long hair. Yeah.
Wait, it's been that long?
Mm-hmm. Isn't that crazy? I had like really long hair. There's a lot of people here who probably don't remember my long hair, but it was like after my wedding, which was in end of August, was when I chopped my hair off. So that's pretty crazy to think about for myself.
Yes.
Kelly,
yes. They're just, I went to bed at 2 a.m. I woke up this morning, I'm like, fuck yeah. 1 year podcast, let's go.
You went to bed at 2 a.m. last night?
Yeah, I committed myself to, so like we're doing Halloween selfie stations at each of my dispensary locations, and we saw an idea where it was basically like a black backdrop with the black like glitter like tinsel backdrop, and then someone cut out like monster teeth, like individual monster teeth, and put them on the backdrop. And I was like, that looks easy as fuck. I can do that. Guys, it took me 8 hours. It took me 8 hours this weekend.
So there's the Braylon that started this podcast.
Did we meet with this long of hair?
Oh, we did. We definitely did. So if you remember that version of me, this photo was a year ago. It was like end of August, so like very close to a year
but
ago.
it's like your sister. It's like someone in your
Doesn't look like
family
me,
that
right?
I met. Right? No,
It's
not at
weird.
all. Rip. Blaze's low volume.
Yeah, you got it. I'm like, you're on it. Yeah, so that's really interesting for me to think about. In the last year, from that point to now, I have grown so much. I have changed so much. If you listen to our first podcast recording, me and Steph just like barreled the whole time, and I don't think Dana or Blaze got a word in. And they were like waving at us to like try and get us to like stop talking, and like we just kept talking. So we're a lot better at that now.
No, I'm not.
well.
No, positives only. Yes, I am.
At least.
A little bit. I'm a little bit better. I still go off on my fucking tangents. I need a mic cut. Like, you guys just need to have the ability to just like, all right, she's done. Press the
Turn
just
her
press the
on.
button.
Like a little sign or something.
That's it. Just like
Changing the subject sign so you can be like, oh, before I change the subject, and then we can be like, boom.
how about like a sign on a stick that just says like, Steph, shut up. No, it's not. No, it's not. Because it needs to be Steph, shut up. Because that's like in my mind, I'm like, Steph, shut up, shut up, shut up, stop talking. And I can't. It's an ADHD thing, I think.
What about you guys? How do you feel that you've grown in the last year?
Not everybody at once. Chat.
I was like finding a new style for my. I found the turtleneck that I love now. I had similar hair length as well. I went through like long hair and I've cut it off again. So clearly,
Short hair queens.
yeah, clearly like I had it longer for the wedding I went to with my for my friend's wedding, and then I had it like chopped off again after that.
What do you think? Do you feel like any of us, like, could I speak to how you've grown, Dana? Like, do you feel like we could speak for each other maybe for how we've grown? Like, have
feel
you
like-
noticed anything about all of us? Or...
Yeah, I feel like you guys know most of everything that's happened in my life in the last year because like we do talk like a heck of a lot. Like,
Yeah, well,
we're
it...
very open and honest with each other. There's things I've told these lovely ladies that like no one else knows.
I was just gonna say, like, it's interesting. We asked like how we've grown, and both of us were like our hair, and like here's what we look different. But like, if you were to ask me, like, how has Dana grown in the last year? Like, I feel like you have changed a lot. Like, you seem more confident. I feel like you deal with like your anxiety better. Like I don't know. I feel like you definitely have grown as a person in a lot of good ways. If that makes sense.
Yeah, definitely. I would say for sure like the anxiety thing is working a little bit better. Like I feel like I'm able to like voice what I need more than maybe me like a year ago did. Like I'm working on like my needs assessment and stuff like that for uni so I can get like things put in place. For like for me at uni and stuff. Not only that, but like just in general advocating for myself more. Like you guys know, there's things that like I may have like cut out of my life, and I'm doing differently now. Definitely. I guess at work as well. Like I'm managing my stress, and I've changed job roles like 2 different times now. I guess I'm in like more of a supervisor role, which I'm really not like used to, and I'm still like learning and stuff.
That's
I
huge.
know, like I feel like this year I feel like I'm the same person, but also like so many different things have like happened in a year.
I feel the same. Blaze, like, what about you? I feel like if you think about like streaming for Blaze, like I feel like your stream journey has changed a lot in the last year. And you like
Really?
handled it with
Because
grace.
I like don't see the growth there.
You don't?
No, I don't.
don't-
I was thinking to myself sitting here, I'm like, I have no idea how I've changed. I feel like I really haven't at all.
Well,
Your
I
stream has changed for sure.
Hard disagree.
I mean, it's
remember-
gone through different iterations, so like our setup has
Seasons.
changed like a bunch. So
I remember when you initially were like gonna stream on your own, and you were like, I don't know how this is gonna go. Like you were like you know, just sad or nervous, and I feel like you've been killing it. Like you just like adapted and took it with stride, and like are just, I don't know, you did such a good job with that. Like that's not an easy thing to handle. To, you know, my other half is leaving temporarily, and I got to figure out how to handle this, and I think you are killing it, and you
Agree
that was
completely.
a lot to
Yeah.
figure out.
I've seen a massive, I wouldn't say like improvement's not the right word, but it's definitely been a shift. Like a lot of what I saw from the outside perspective as like job insecurity has now turned into very much like you are very confident and competent in your role, and you no longer, like from an outside perspective, like worry about that unknown. You're safe and secure in what you've built and the skill set that you've developed, and you own that shit. And it's great. So I'm sure it's a lot less stress on your side too.
Yeah, I think having my new boss has helped with that. Cause he's much more open and just like, I don't know. He's just better.
Just better. Just overall better.
Exactly.
that makes a huge difference, having like positive management in a work environment. Like they kind of discount how much they influence the environment
Really
around them.
does. Like my last boss was like constantly on my case. It felt like, and this one is like he's there, but he's
No
not
micromanaging.
micromanaging me. Yeah.
Steph, last year at this time, am I correct in assuming you were also at a job that you hated?
Oh God, yeah. I was looking to make a transition.
That was a big like thorn in your side.
Oh, it was awful. My job is like my entire personality for the most part, which I feel like in the last year I've kind of gotten away from a little bit, but I still have my workaholic tendencies. So I've learned that surrounding myself with the things that motivate me to be the kind of person that I want to be is the way to go. Like sitting on quit your job and live in a van TikTok is only hurting my mental health because like I'm pining for something I'm never going to realistically have or
Also,
probably
you don't
too
wanna live in a
realistically
van.
like.
You
Yeah,
don't want to live in a van.
I don't think I want that.
I
but
have friends that
why I
did it. They
brought
lasted
you-
like 2 months.
Oh,
You don't want to
God.
do it.
I
You
couldn't
don't.
do that. That's why
Don't
I
go
brought
live in
you
a
to the
van.
loving my 9 to 5 TikTok.
That's a good TikTok to be on.
It's
You know
a
what you
good
get?
TikTok.
Stability,
Yes.
health insurance,
Yep.
guaranteed
Yes.
income.
So I found myself on enjoying our working from home job, but it's just like I don't know. I got to take that next step and I got to kind of figure out like what I want to do. But no, this time last year, I was in a job I absolutely hated. I was miserable. And I got hit up on LinkedIn and they're like, "Hey, we think you'd be a good fit for this marketing director role." And I laughed and I was like, "I'm not qualified to be a marketing director. I've been a marketing director for a year. I just celebrated 1 year at my company. Like I'm able to have like confident honest conversations with management about what I need and the resources. I got mentorship. I've got great friends. I've surrounded myself with great people. I set my own boundaries. Like it's been almost night and day difference. Being unhappy in your job affects so much more in your life than just like the job.
It's like a good third of your day, so at least.
I did the math, and I'm not super great at math, but I figured, like, you got like 160 some odd hours in a week, and then you deduct like 8 hours every day, which is what you're supposed to be resting and sleeping. So not including like food or anything, half of your time awake, if you work 55 hours a week, it's literally half your time awake. And that's not including like eating or taking care of yourself. So you have to like put shit in perspective for yourself. Like you might get value out of that work, but are you gonna look back and be like, "Oh my God, I'm so glad that I worked 60 hours a week"? No, gonna be like, "What the fuck is wrong with you?" Like you wasted your life working for somebody else. Do the things that make you happy, and that's what I've been chasing, doing the shit that makes me happy.
Can you guys smile so I can take my V-Reel? Okay, thanks.
That was a lot less awkward than in person. Thank you. No, like at least I could see myself and be like, "Don't make that face." Everybody needs a mirror when they take pictures of you.
Oh my God.
It's so fucked up. I had like a horrible, like, those memories that come back to you like out of nowhere and you're just like, "Oh my God, that was me." It was when I first went out to dinner with my husband and a group of friends, and we took a group photo, and the chick next to me showed me the photo. She's like, "Why do you do that with your face?" I'm like, "Smile?" I don't know. Do you have any advice for what I should do with my face instead?
What a rude thing to say.
Like, what the fuck?
Seriously,
That
what?
popped into my head last night, and I was like, "Yeah, that chick was a bitch." It was so
Yeah.
mean.
Just a little bit.
Does anyone else? So, percents. How many percents better are you now than 1 year ago today? I would say a solid 7, but it's more than 7%.
Do you know what though? Okay, if you think about in the span of my life and that you're constantly on like a self-growth journey, like it never ends. There's never a point where you get to where you're like, "I am a perfectly healed human." Like that doesn't exist. You can't ever get there. It's not gonna happen. It's just like the amount of people that reach enlightenment. It's not very many. It's hard to do. I would say I'm like 1% better because I want to keep getting like maybe a goal is to just be like 1 to 2% better each year
I'm gonna stick with
Yeah,
my
for the rest
7
of my
then.
life.
I'm sticking with 7. If I can get
Yeah.
7% better every year, that's a long time. That's like less than 1% a month.
Yeah.
I'd
Maybe
say
that-
with all the shit that's happened this year,
I feel like you're like 10, Dana. Oh, wow. Yeah.
A solid 5.
Solid 5. What about you, Blaze?
I say like 2.
A 2? Yeah, you're
I
like
think
me.
2
You're
is
like,
a solid.
I'm just. If I will say though, like this was the first year. Well, kind of. Maybe like this was like the second or third year that I really got into personal development. So I feel like I'm still kind of a baby at it, and I like don't really know what I'm doing. So yeah, I'll go with like 2%.
I feel like a lot of my growth this year has been kind of like forced on me by like experiences and like situations
And
that have
us.
happened.
Sometimes it's necessary though.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that's why mine is 5.
It's almost nicer when you have like a catalyst, something that like pushes you into a new like growth zone. Because like
Yeah.
for me, well, I had some difficult things happen this year. I have a problem where I don't like focus on the difficult things. So then when I look back, I'm like, everything is great. And it's like, actually, no, I did struggle with a lot of stuff this year. And that definitely like helped push me more so to grow. Like if you're just chilling and life is good, you have to like put in effort to growing.
I mean, it's true. It's very easy to just coast with everything just like being okay. I get bored. I feel like that's a toxic trait of mine. When things are going good and everything's like chill and it's just like it's a filler episode, I'm bored. Let's shake things up a
filler
little bit.
I mean,
We're on
I
the same
think
side of
without,
TikTok.
like- I think without some hard times, like I mean, this is like a cheesy like quote or whatever, but like without the hard times, the good times wouldn't be as important or whatever. I totally messed
Without-
that quote up,
with-
but
with-
it's fine.
It's without the sour, the sweet wouldn't taste. You wouldn't
Yeah,
know what
there's,
sweet
like, a
stuff
bunch
is if
of
you
those.
didn't have sour. Yeah, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, I get it.
Still don't want it. Still don't want
I'd
the
also
sour.
say like Blaze and I have really like found our voice with this with the TikTok with this podcast. I would say like for sure. Definitely.
I would say the same. Like
It's been really nice.
I've learned to embrace my discomfort with you guys. Because, like, to be uncomfortable means that you're growing. It means that you're being exposed to something new, something different. And, like, between the 4 of us, we're pretty smart and can kind of figure out, like, hey, man, that's probably not, like, the best thing to keep in your life. And it's just having the group of people to be open and honest with. Like, I don't know. It was like 2 o'clock in the morning, guys. I was high and in my feels, and it's like, man, I really wish I could talk about life with someone right now. And I'm like, everyone's asleep. So my husband's playing video games. I need like a opposite time zone of Dana, I think, and then we can have someone that's awake at all times.
you need a friend in Australia. Is what you need.
Yes.
Applications are open.
Yeah. I think it's been nice. And the fact that like the 4 of us we have our own supporter ticket, which is really funny because we all started off as being supporters in the Tickets and Braden server. So we have our own for us because like we started like creating our own tickets in there and stuff. And it's nice to be able to just go like, hey, I need your perspective on this, or hey, like this situation's happening. Am I overreacting? And like I have a big thing where like I read tone in what I think people are saying rather than just reading it and not like having my own like thing, like my own narrative in my head. So like having say Braden go, actually I don't think this sounds bad at all. I think like you're reading a tone into it that isn't there is really helpful, because like if my anxiety is already heightened about something, like it's gonna see it as a bad thing. I'm gonna go, oh my god, they're being really horrible to me. And then Braden's like, I don't see what's wrong with any of this. Like what's wrong with this conversation? And I'm like, well, clearly they mean this. And she's like, but they haven't said that. And I'm like, yeah, but they mean this. And she's like, no, I don't think they do. It sounds like they're being really nice to you.
all the time.
I'm like, shit.
It's so nice having a life ticket resource. Just like, am I being insane? Am I wrong? Is this? I feel like I'm okay. Even just
But
like
in
little
the,
shit.
in the same breath, it's nice having your feelings validated sometimes as well. When you're
Yeah.
like, am I overreacting? And then people being like, nah, that's
No.
really horrible.
My
Might not be
favorite
reacting
part.
enough.
My favorite part about this group is we do not bullshit each other.
No.
We call each other out on our shit. It's a little bit uncomfy sometimes, but that's what you need in a person. Because how are you supposed to fix it if no one tells you?
Yeah.
She's an asshole, but you get used to it? Nah, we're gonna fix it. It'll work out.
I guess with this podcast, I think I've always been kind of an like somewhat opinionated person that like didn't really have an outlet to actually talk about stuff other than, you know, to my friends and or to my mom just complaining about stuff.
Yeah, you need a place to complain
I don't know
too.
what Mira was doing. But but yeah, the podcast has kind of given me the spot to talk about whatever I want and really give my opinions.
And that's, yes, exactly what Lily said. It's assuming that people probably have the best intentions. That's insanely difficult for me too. Because I mean, everyone has an agenda, but no, not everyone has
No,
an
they
agenda. I don't have an agenda. I go
Everyone
into
has
it
an
like,
agenda.
just like very honestly, just like wanting to help. And then, yeah, I come off very intimidating to people like I can only really speak for my workspace because that's the only IRL interaction that I have with human beings. Other than that, I just want people to leave me the fuck alone in public. Like, please don't approach me. I don't want to have a conversation. I just want to get my shit and get out. I want to go home.
Don't ever go to Trader Joe's because they will chat you up like there's no tomorrow.
I don't have one near me.
Nice.
Soon. Very soon.
Yeah.
I'm sure. They're gentrifying my area. We'll have a Trader Joe's very soon.
It is funny though, because like we're all very different people and also very similar in so many different ways.
Yes,
Like
exactly.
Steph and I are very like cynical with people, I think, and whereas like Braylon's always like, maybe they have the best intentions, like assume they have the best intentions, and like don't assume they always have the worst intentions. Whereas I'm just like, what's your fucking angle here? Like, what do you
Yes,
want? Like, what do you
yes,
want from me?
yes. When I first met Braylon, I'm like, this chick lives in fucking La La Land.
Most
But it's
people
like,
think
it's not that. Because
just, like,
it's
to protect my sanity. Like, I'm just gonna take everyone at face value, and what you communicate to me is all the information that I'm going to evaluate, and I'm not gonna read between lines, I'm not gonna make assumptions. If you need to tell me something, I'm going to assume that you're going to tell me, and I'm not gonna stress about it if you don't. And it is so much easier when you get to this point, because you're just like, hands off, not my problem.
Dana, could
Like-
you imagine? Could you imagine not investing that energy into all of those? I know all the thoughts that ran through my brain ran through your brain too. Like, nah, fuck that. They're out to get me. They want something. I'm being used. There's an ulterior motive here. Like, there's no such thing as face value. People are just shit communicators.
The thing is though, like, same, but like Braylon's way of thinking is so smart because you're not wasting all that time stressing
Yeah.
about what people really mean or what they really want from you because you're just taking them at face value. I think actually taking people at face value is probably going to piss them off because people want you to
A
read through
little.
the lines a lot of the time. They want you to guess what they're thinking.
I
And they
can't.
don't have very good communication skills. They don't want to say what they really mean. And if you just go, okay, well, what they said is probably what they mean. I'm just going to take them at face value. That's probably going to end up being
I've
like
had
thing for
interactions
yourself.
where I can tell the person is trying to get me to like play a game or like read between the lines, like at work and stuff, and I'm just like, like if you really want me to, like, I can see what you're doing, and I could like read into it and respond to that, but I'm not going to. So if I'm not playing your game, you can just tell me what's up, and then I'll, like, just communicate. But
I've channeled so much of Braylon in my day to day. It's just like I am at a baseline standard, unbothered.
yeah, that's great. You should
Take
be.
it or leave it. My friendship is not like it. it's here if you want it, I guess, but I'm not gonna invest that much energy into people. And I don't. Like, sometimes I get lonely. I get a little bit lonely, but I have the internet, so I can just stop with being
That's when
lonely
you text
and
me
go get
like
on the
once
internet.
every 3 months, and you're like, "Can you come over to my house?"
You know, and honestly, I would text you so much more, but I'm like, man, she's got other shit going on. I'm just gonna be like bothering, just like, you know, I still go through that. I still go, but it's like, I know you don't want to leave your house either. I don't want to fucking leave my house. Why would I make you leave your house to come to me?
I used to
think
not text Braylon that much, but I feel like lately it's been at least like once every other day.
Yeah,
It
we
feels
text
like
a lot now.
I don't really have anybody like that I like message all the time. But I do send people TikToks that make me think of them. So if you ever get
I
a
don't ever
TikTok from me,
respond, but I
that's my
always
love
watch them,
language.
Dana. That's my love
Same.
language.
Sometimes I don't respond, but I do watch them.
I don't check any of my social media.
This
Sorry.
TikTok,
I
it is
should,
not-
but I don't. Instead, I doom scroll TikTok with my toe while I curl my hair. That's the extent of my social media like interaction these days. I've been a little bit more active on Twitter, but Twitter is like a
Twitter's
cesspool of
fun.
negativity.
Oh,
I need to-
love Twitter.
I
I'm-
love Twitter.
I'm getting
I
real
love
good with my
Twitter
block
because
the
button.
motion part of Twitter now, so
Oh,
I'm
it's
like
great.
fucking here for it. I'm like,
Yes.
yes. Tell me how to get
Yes.
my life together, please.
Notion Twitter is amazing, but I feel like Twitter for me is like all the business minded people. I don't know why. It just feels more like people that are like there to network and like kind of have a general understanding of like the business world. I don't know. Does that make sense? Like, it's more business minded content creators. I don't know if that makes any sense.
So, okay, sorry, I gotta answer this,
Yeah.
Kelly. Okay, so what you do is you prop your phone up at a 45-degree angle on something, and you have a bare toe, and you position your toe kind of like on your heel, but it can kind of touch your phone a little bit, and then while you're curling your hair, you just use your toe. And sometimes you end up like liking things you didn't mean to, or you scroll to the wrong thing. It's awkward, but that's how you scroll TikTok with your toe.
I would say as well with Twitter, something Steph has said quite a few times actually that I think is really smart. Like, there's a block list. There you can mute words. You can have your Twitter how you want it. You just need to block the right people and
That
mute the
is-
right words.
You do have to, it's like the opposite of other platforms where you have to make sure you follow the right people. Twitter, you have to make sure that you block or mute the right people. Muting people is great if you don't want them. Like, if it's, say you have someone that's like kind of a mutual connection or like a friend, but they're just like super hateful or really negative or just always have something not good energy to say, just mute. It still shows you're following them. No one's going to get upset at you. But if it's somebody like, I'll go on The Sims, and when like The Sims tweets out new features, there's just all these people saying all kinds of nasty stuff underneath. And I just go block, 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 block,
Yeah.
block, block. And like, this is a great filter to show me who I need to not want to ever see anything on my feed from them.
I'm accidentally, unintentionally on political Twitter. And I can't get away from it because my husband's heavily involved in politics, and so is my brother-in-law. So
Anytime I see a Vrona tweet, it's just like something about politics. I'm like, you go,
Sorry.
Vrona, you go.
I'm
You always
apologizing
make a
on
good
behalf
point,
of my
though.
husband. Sometimes I was just like, why do you have an opinion on this? I I don't know. There's a whole world out there that I have yet to experience. So I do this thing with my social medias, and maybe you guys can tell me why this happens. After about 6 months of me building any social media account, I am dreadfully bored of it. I hate everybody on it. I don't want to look at it anymore. It's the same shit all the time. Like, how do people get new things introduced to their feed if they haven't experienced those new things yet?
I don't know.
People
Is
like
it because I don't
retweeting things?
engage?
Well, now.
I don't engage. I don't
That's not
want
true.
to engage
Like, you engaged with our stuff.
with our stuff, which is great.
I've seen you engage with other people.
Same.
Little bit here and
Yeah,
there.
Message people back. Like, I literally saw you message answer someone where they said about hating their job, and you're like, hey, well, what are you like doing and stuff. You're actively like trying to help someone.
Little bit. I'm only trying to
mocktail
post nice
TikTok.
things. Mocktail TikTok is fucking dang.
We
So
all- yeah.
that is McQueeb's wife, and she is wonderful, and she is just so kind, and she is hysterical, and I love her tweets, and I really wish she would start streaming again. But that is McQueeb's wife. This is Channel 3. She is lovely. I try to only post nice things, but then there are sometimes like the people that feed their animals THC. Yeah, you're getting publicly commented that you're a dumb fuck and you shouldn't have animals. You're an idiot. You should know that. I should be the one to tell you that. I feel that strongly in my heart. Other than that, nice stuff only. I try.
I think you do a good job. I think when it comes to like, I literally don't ever go search for anything new on Twitter. I just like, I tend to follow, if somebody follows me, this is what happens. I go and look at their profile. And if they have like a bio that I'm like, oh yeah, like they're a Twitch streamer, maybe they have ADHD, maybe they like Notion, whatever, I just follow them back. Like I'm following back everybody unless I click and there's like no common interest, then I don't follow them back.
Yeah.
I don't know where I was
need
going
to
with that, but
find new people because my feed is like very like similar, and I want to meet like new people and make new friends and stuff, and I'm just like crapping out at trying to trying to like find people at the moment.
Twitter has an amazing search feature too. Probably the best search feature of any social media. So like if you're looking for something really specific, you can search on Twitter and you'll probably find somebody that is interested in that thing.
I did
That is true.
actually search to see who was talking about Gilmore Girls recently.
There you
'cause I'm
go,
on my
yeah.
rewatch.
Yep.
So
it's
funny.
So fun.
I've never seen Gilmore Girls, so I've actually muted it because it's everywhere. I've never seen it. I'm sick of getting content.
Good. I don't have it on my Twitter either.
Is it? I heard Gilmore Girls didn't age appropriately. I wanna touch on something. So, Lily, you are absolutely right. Unfollowing someone does not equal not liking someone. It just means that their content isn't what you want in your feed. I have had to explain myself to people. I've had people reach out to me. They're like, why did you unfollow me on TikTok? And I was like, it's nothing against you. I've had employees approach me. They're like, Steph, I can't find you on TikTok. I heard you had a TikTok. I was like, I probably have you blocked. Like, I have no shame. My feed is for me. That is my safe place, not your safe place. That's mine. Same thing with like my stream, my Twitter, my Instagram, anything that I participate on the internet or I am there, completely controlled by me. And I have that right to do so, just as you do too. You should never feel guilty for taking people out of certain circles. Maybe there's an appropriate place for them. Work people, you can go hit me up on LinkedIn. My TikTok I do my streaming art stuff is not the appropriate place for you to interact with me.
Yeah.
We are at this point now where people have so many. It's not just like Facebook anymore, where you would like add everyone and then maybe block, like hide certain features, you know, from certain people or whatever. They had good privacy settings, but I feel like we're at this point where we have so many different little corners of the internet, and it's totally valid to be like, you're not allowed there. You could go over here though. This is a maybe slightly different version of me on this platform that you can have access to, but this one over here, and like that's okay. There's that should be more acceptable to be like, oh yeah, you're not. I used to say all the time, like back in the day, I would never follow my personal friends on Instagram because I was like, you don't post anything I want to look at. Like you don't post content I want to see. So I'm sorry, like I'm not following you.
Come over and let's do dinner. You know what I mean? That's the appropriate place to interact with those people in your life. So Nardvillain had a question. What are your thoughts on Be Real? I think it's just like what Snapchat was back in the day when we first got it. It was just like you post what you're literally doing at that time, and it's temporary. So if you see it, you see it. If you don't, you don't.
When I got Snapchat, I was a freshman in college. This was circa 2012, and the only thing people used it for was nudies. So that's, yeah, and I haven't really used Snapchat since. I have not used it since. It was like a little ghost, and it was such a little rudimentary app. Yeah. I just thought that was funny.
Be Real's
I
okay.
use Snapchat with my cousin. We just Snapchat each other every day to keep our streak going, and then like sometimes we'll message each other to see how we're doing and stuff. It's just nice because it just reminds us that other person's still there. Okay, we may not be talking. We're just sending like a blank TikTok, Snapchat. Too many things. Snapchat with like the time, and then like but I know that if I actually messaged her, she might not message me straight back because like she's working or whatever, but I know like she's always there because we're like keeping up the streaks and stuff. So that's kind of nice.
I only use Snapchat with my best friends, and then I have a really, really long streak with Reagan as well. And yes, we live together, but yes, we are still keeping our streak.
I love
I don't
it.
get it. I don't get
Going
Snapchat
back-
anymore.
Going back to Be Real though, I love Be Real. I don't always see the notification when it comes in, and sometimes I like am not feeling it or whatever, so I won't do it. But I do like it. I like that it's a smaller circle of people. I like that it's not public. When you get to a point where you have a lot of followers on platforms, sometimes you don't want to, like, when I think about that, if I post my Instagram story, its potential to reach 20,000 people, I have to think a lot more about what I'm posting, obviously, right? I can't dox myself. I don't want to give away my location. I don't want to, like show too many personal areas of my
Interesting.
house. So I like that Be Real is more locked down, and it's like just my friends, and I can post if I'm at work. I can post, like, it doesn't matter as much because it's a more curated group. So I love Be Real. I think it's great.
I do find though, like it always goes off when I'm at work, and I'm like, okay, well I can't take like a proper thing of myself because I've got my lanyard that says where I work, I've got my uniform that says where I work. So I'm like, either I dox myself or you just get like this up in the ceiling, like. So I stopped using Be Real because of that, because I was like, it's like never a great time.
I don't have Be Real, but I thought about re-downloading it because I did have it downloaded and then never used it. But I
think
may or may
Allie-
not add it back.
I think Allie had
Allie made
asked
us
us.
all.
Yeah.
Allie
So
does too.
I used it for a little while, but then I kind of fell off of it. It's the same as Dana. I'm usually at work, working at some point, no matter what time of day it was like work. Vlogging. So vlogging on Snapchat, that's a really interesting concept. And yeah, no, fuck Facebook. I'm actually banned right now on Facebook because I posted something that was a little bit too similar to cannabis, but none of the posts got taken off of Instagram, and it was on my company account, so they blocked my account now. I hate Facebook. It needs to die. Get rid of it. No one uses it.
I only use Facebook to talk to my colleagues at work.
It's just a place to bitch.
We use Facebook for our family messenger chat, but that's like it.
Oh, we use WhatsApp for our family group chat.
We just have a text thread that we never use, really.
Yeah, but like with WhatsApp, you can send pictures and like it's free.
I have heard good things about WhatsApp.
Same.
My sister keeps trying to get us on there.
I love the
I agree with
concept
your sister.
of Be Real. I would love if like Discord integrated something like that, where I could send a push notification reminder like, oh, take a picture of what you're doing
That would
right
be
now.
great. I
And
would
then-
never use Be Real again if Discord every day we could have a channel. Wait, I mean you could technically
You could.
have a channel that was
That
called
just
Be Real or
sends
whatever, and just
an
a
automated
notification
message.
popped up.
Do
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
see where TikTok is doing that?
Yes.
I
and
don't
I'm
like
not
it.
on board.
Why?
That's what I'm saying.
know.
Like, I don't want my 29,000 TikTok people to be like, "Oh, this is what you're doing right now." Like, that is too much info for that many strangers.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I Be Real, I have like 12 people on there, and it's great, and that's all I need.
Yeah, I bet there's a bot. Nostalgic Summers. I don't use. I tried the TikTok one for like a second, and I don't care. I'm sorry.
I do find it's interesting because you've got like social medias that are locked down. Like I guess Be Real is classed as a social media, and then you've got Snapchat as well, which like only people who you follow can find you. And I need to remind myself that I am on for like platforms that anyone can watch me at any point, like Twitch, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter. Like anyone can find me, even like people in real life. And I maybe have got myself into trouble by
It is.
forgetting that anybody can listen to me.
Yeah.
Find me at any point.
You kind
I
of
forget
like.
because I keep my like Twitch and like social media, like all of this, like separate from like my personal life. Like I would never even think about the two merging, but like obviously with social media, anyone can find you. So like my lives could merge at any point, you know? But to me, I'm Hannah Montana, you know? Like, no one knows about me.
Sometimes
Which
I
is
wonder
crazy.
if there's like
My
people
gosh.
from past lives that just like happen to creep on my stuff and I
Yeah.
don't know. Like, is
Oh,
there anyone
yeah.
that follows me on Instagram that like, was a friend 10 years ago that I have probably.
Guaranteed. I would bet money on it. I would bet a lot of money on it. Like a lot. Like a gross amount of money.
That's fine.
So recently on LinkedIn, all of my one of my coworkers found my LinkedIn, which I mean makes sense, but then like 10 of them have now started to add me. And so I'm just getting more and more and more people. And one of them messaged me and he was like, "Did you leave the company? It says you're looking for work." And I was like, "No, I stream on Twitch, so I didn't want people knowing what company I worked for, so it's not updated correctly." And I felt so awkward explaining that because now he's like, "What's Twitch?"
Oh
Like-
no. Do you know what I
Oh, I
tell
love
people?
that.
This is so I tell people all the time in person, and this is like the best canned response you can give somebody if they ask about Twitch and they're like, "What is that?" I don't even actually say the word Twitch. I say I run a live interactive broadcast television show.
I think I actually said I
people are like-
stream on Twitch, and then he said, "What do you stream?"
Yeah, no, that's
What's
the
his
word
question?
because
And I
people
was
are like, "Oh, do you
"Man."
stream games?"
Yeah, all the time.
I'm
Like, no,
like,
I craft.
Sometimes, but kind of not really. But so yeah, I
Everyone's
just
like,
tell
"Do
people
watch you play games." I'm
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
yeah.
So
guess
when
they
I
do.
say I run a live broadcast, like interactive television show, people are like, "Oh, that's so cool!" It shuts them up from asking any questions. Like
Does
people,
it?
like nobody asked me any follow-up questions.
I'm gonna need that like written down and like tattooed to my hand or something. Like,
Oh, here I got it. Stream
people
marker.
always,
Done.
like, seem
We'll clip it.
shocked that I stream. They're like, "Oh, you stream?"
Yeah.
I'm like, "What the fuck is that supposed to mean?"
Well,
Like,
because
what?
if people know about Twitch, they probably just know it as like that's where Ninja plays Fortnite. Like, and so then they think like you're on Twitch, like why are you on Twitch? And then you have to like explain there's this whole other genre and everybody can do whatever they want and there's cooking and there's art and there's co-working and I don't have the time to do that to every person that asks me what I do on the weekends.
Oh, see, my weekends are very simple. Like I smoke copious amounts of cannabis and I craft. Those are the two things that
You
consume
don't
my
have to
life
tell
if I'm not
people that
working.
it's you're recording yourself while you do those things though.
Well, no, I do because like the question does come up every once in a while. Like, I'm very selfish with my weekends with work. Like you get 55 hours a week and you get half of my Sundays most of the time because I plan my week. So like you have plenty of time to ask me what you need to ask me. But they're like, the question has come up like, oh, what do you do on Saturdays since you're unavailable? Not like, why are you unavailable? Just like curious, like conversation. And it's like, well, actually I stream. Which is why I don't have my phone. Like everything's put away. I'm in very much a bubble. And they're like, oh, what do you stream? Like what game? And it's like, I craft. And then I get to share my artwork with people.
That
So
makes sense.
I don't mind it as much anymore because I know it's inevitable that Twitch and the streaming community is just going to get larger. And then especially if I intend to grow, there's going to be people that are going to find it. It's going to be, and why hide it? I'm not ashamed of it. I work really hard and I'm going to have to be in the public spotlight anyway. So I might as well rip that Band-Aid off now and just get used to people knowing about it. But just throwing it out there, if you see me and you know me in real life and you see me on the internet, no, you didn't. Mutual. You don't have to interact with me. Just watch.
I have my content Instagram linked in the bio of my personal Instagram. But then I also have written in there, if you see me on TikTok, no, you did not. Because sometimes I would have women come into work and TikTok like will show your stuff if it's like same location or like same phone number. You'll pop up on and people would be like, "Oh my god, I saw you on TikTok." And it would be like a 50-year-old woman and they're like, "I saw your Sim stuff." And I'm like, "Oh god, no you did not. This is so embarrassing."
Why are you embarrassed by it? Braylon, you're an amazing simmer.
You are a great simmer.
People say, I want to get into Sims, and I'm like, you should go follow Braylon. Braylon knows Sims stuff. Like, you are the Sims person. I I love that for you. Don't be embarrassed
you.
by it. Your builds are fucking amazing, and you got it. And then they're gonna tell their kids. And then if someone like that 50-year-old lady's got people that are into Sims in her life, and she's like, "Oh, I know someone," and then she's
My
gonna send them to you.
regularly tells people, my daughter makes little Sims movies and posts them on Instagram, and I'm like, can you, like, she'll do this in front of me. We'll be like at a bar, and she'll like talk to the stranger next to her and be like, yeah, my daughter like makes these adorable and I'm like, please stop, my soul is leaving my body now. Please, can you please stop telling a stranger?
Why
'Cause
are
I don't know
mums,
why I
like,
feel
why?
embarrassed about it. Like it's like, I'm like, you want to watch like normal people want to watch Sims stuff? I don't know. It feels like
Oh, it's so
an adult
relaxing.
doll playing, okay?
People watch freaking people fake build houses. Why can't they watch you build fake houses in Sims? It's better. You can mod it. They can like it is.
I shouldn't be ashamed. I don't
You
know why I am.
We don't have to unpack that right now, but we do
No.
need to unpack that.
You know, my therapist, my therapist actually bumped me down because she was like, "You're doing great right now. You don't really need to be meeting with
Oh,
me as
yeah.
often as you are." And
My
so I
therapist
was
said
like,
that
"Cool."
to me.
But that was like the biggest thing that we talked about the whole time was, Braylon, you have a lot of shame. So
Do you think as well it's like the way your mum kind of said like these little Sims videos?
well,
or
that
these
might have just been me
adorable
saying that,
things?
like the way that I interpreted her. Like I don't think she was condescending at all. Like
Oh
she was
no, I
very
just mean,
excited.
like, I don't think that she's being condescending. I just mean like those words I feel like we kind of internalize as like, oh,
Well, that
cringe.
was, I think, I don't think she even said that. I think that's my shame internalizing, repeating to you what she said is coming from a lens of me and my shame. I don't even think she
Oh,
said
wow.
little. Like, she probably said it very nice and talked me up, but the way that I interpret it, because I have shame around it, is like, oh, this is so embarrassing. Like,
Isn't that
that
fucking
make sense?
crazy? Like that blows my mind that you can have 20 fucking thousand followers for your fucking Sims and Animal Crossing content. You're like, don't look at it. I'm embarrassed by it. Shut the fuck up. Shut up. Get out of here with that shit.
You're like 20,000 people can look at this, but not you. Not this person in front of me.
In my mind, it like exists for people that live online and not real life. Does that
It's
that's what
hard.
it is.
It's
Sorry.
a hard mental like hurdle because we live. I wouldn't say we live different lives on the internet, but I am kind of a different person on the internet. I'm a little bit more confident because I'm looking at myself. You know what I mean? Like I can directly change how I am presenting myself to the world when I'm on the internet.
And
think
you're
about what I say.
I think you're in real life, you're like more vulnerable because you can't control. You're living in the real world instead of like your own bubble that you have like full control over. Whereas in real life, like you're face to face with somebody, like that's as vulnerable as you can get looking
Yeah.
into someone's eyes. And so I think it makes us feel like a little bit squeamish of like, we're talking about this thing that normally I have full control over, like who sees it and all that, you know, like it's like, and then you're in real life and you're like, oh, this is the real world.
I'm probably gonna get some heat for it, but like I'm excited for VR World.
Oh my
Like,
God,
in
me
real
too.
life, if I could just like bloop myself out of the situation instead of having to go through the awkward pain of like getting up, walking away, getting in my car and leaving, because that's fucking rude. Yeah, you just hit the X button and you're like out and you're like, oh, I accidentally disconnected. My bad. Like I cannot fucking wait for VR.
I hate Elon Musk and I think he's a deplorable human being and I hate everything that he stands for. But if that man creates a neural link and I can go get a chip in my brain that can pop me into Animal Crossing, I'm there.
Oh, done.
I will be first on the wait list. Sign
Done.
me up.
Sword Art Online is like a dream of mine.
Yes. I don't even care if I get stuck. Screw it. Put me in the hospital bed. I'm just in the game.
Yeah, no, I'm
Dana's
good.
like, what's wrong with you guys?
No, like this is yeah, it's sick. We should probably unpack that with our therapist.
Not so much what you're saying, it's just I feel like there's been so many films that are like why you shouldn't do that.
Yep.
I'm okay with the consequences. If IRL me doesn't have to like live life and I can be in a fantasy world where there's like dragons and I'm like some kind of fucking warrior princess, like let's go. I'll take the fallacy any day.
I do find like social media and like being online instead of like in real life has been great for me, because I went from being someone who like barely had any friends and barely went out and stuff to like my weekends packed like all the time. Like people are like, oh, what are you doing? I'm like, oh, I like barely have any time. I'm streaming Friday afternoon, evening, like a movie or watching someone's streaming. Saturday I stream during the day. Evening, well, obviously it's Braylon's stream like that I'm gonna be joining and stuff. And then like Sunday I'm like, oh yeah, like I got my uni work done during the day. And then evening, oh no, I can't do anything any Sunday evening ever again for the rest of my life, because I've got the podcast. Like that's what I'm doing. And it's so nice to like, when like, I don't want to like go into loads of details. When I broke up with my ex, I was like, I'm gonna be alone and I will never like have anyone to talk to or like hang out with, because like my friends were always like busy because like they have their own lives, you know. And now like I guess I have a life like online though.
I
So
swear
have you
though,
guys.
like I went my whole life, and I was diagnosed with ADHD when I was 6. So I went my whole life. I never had another friend that had ADHD that I knew of my entire life until I met online friends. And like I think that goes the same for like whether you have like a super specific interest, like maybe you're really into like, I don't know, furries, and like you might go your whole life without ever meeting one if you live somewhere where there's no other furries. But online you can garner this community of people that are into the same stuff. And I think that's so valuable, because previously you would just like be friends with people who were at your high school and you might not always vibe with them or have the same interests, and like it's hard to find people that are into the same things as you. But when you have online friends, it's like you can just find people that do all the same stuff as you, and it's great. And you're like, oh.
I booked a video chat with someone recently. We've been trying to figure out when we can get together and go to lunch. And I finally just like, I had to text her after, I don't know, 6 weeks of trying to make plans. I'm like, listen, I am insanely busy. And the reason why it's so hard for me right now to find a time to meet up in person is because it's not just meeting with you for an hour and like shooting the shit or whatever. It's that I have to get ready and be presentable for like human eyeball consumption. I have to drive there, which is time, and then we hang out, and then the hangout probably takes a little bit longer because we haven't seen each other in a little bit, and then I gotta fucking drive back. So it's really more like a 3-hour commitment versus just jumping on a video chat for an hour, and I can literally fit that anywhere in my Friday. It's just easier. Just throwing it out there, we are coming up on our hour mark. If you guys wanted to take a small break, I am out of water, so I would love to.
I think we'll take a quick little break. See, people can get a snack, get a drink, and then we'll answer Lily's question when we come back, and also maybe continue our talk about online friends, because I feel like we had a lot to say.
Yeah, I mean, this is what we are. We're online friends.
Same, I do
so.
too.
Okay. Burb?
Burb, we will be right back.
Verb.
Burb.
Hi.
Hello.
What's going on?
We are back. We had a question right before we hopped off from Lily that was, what is your favorite aspect of having a podcast? My favorite thing about having the podcast is that, one, it's like forced hangout time in a way that like I know it's going to happen and we get to spend time together, because it's not always easy for us to get together and spend time with one another. So it like really helps us to keep our relationships strong and tight, I think. And two, I love that we always have like aha moments. Even if it's like we talk all the time, and still like during the podcast, like somebody will be like, oh my God, you said that in a way that I've never heard before, and everything just clicked for me. And like I think that's really cool. I love that about it.
I love that our personalities are also very different. Like, they're all just so different. And it's good to have that mix of people in your life. I feel like, especially with the internet, we tend to gravitate towards creating echo chambers. And I feel like because our personalities are so different, our own social accounts, because we interact with each other, are a little bit more diversified too.
Yeah.
I think my favorite part of having the podcast or being on the podcast is having a place to really voice my opinions and to reach like a broader audience.
For me, I feel like this podcast is like a place for me to learn and grow, as well as we're teaching other people and helping other people, because like Brayden said, a lot of those aha moments I get like so often, and sometimes it's not even like learning, it's just like, shit, like I'm not the only person who's going through this right now, or I feel so seen or heard, or like I'm not alone. And like that is what the podcast is for me. It helps me feel like I'm not alone. Like we're just really trying to like what's the word I'm looking for? Like not generalize, but like just show people that like they're not alone, that we are all going through these different things. We're all faking it. We may look like we have our shit together. We most certainly don't. Like,
Normalizing being human.
learning. We are all figuring shit out still. Like, I am way better at communication now than I ever was. But like, have I finished learning about communication? Have I like hit the top of my class or whatever? No. Like, I have so much work left to do, even though I've done so much work already. And I think the fact that we have this podcast and that we're learning from each other, and we have that like option to and that we're open as well to hear other people's like thoughts, because like I may say something and someone else has a different opinion, and like we all kind of listen to each other with respect. And I'm not used to that, having people give different opinions and like that being okay, and like, or having my own opinion that's different and that being okay. And it's really nice to just have that like acceptance and that respect when we're all talking about things. It's something that I appreciate a lot, because we are all learning still. We are all faking it till we make it, you know?
Okay, you have to stop because I'm getting emotional.
Okay, sorry. I'm sorry.
No, don't stop. That was just kidding. But like, ew, stop.
You're teary-eyed. I can
Ew, I'm crying. Starting my period.
But yeah, I'm just grateful to have this space, the podcast. And like Brayden said, like this kind of forcing us to hang out, because if we didn't have a schedule, we'd all just either forget, or like we'd be like, oh, like when should we do this? Like, oh, I don't know. When do you want to do? And like we just never crack down on an actual time.
Oh, this is so disgusting.
Real bad at that.
I definitely do
gross.
love that it forces us to hang out as well.
I love the structure, because like I thrive on that shit. Like a lot of friendships, like there's so much left up to just like if you happen to hang out. And with us, it's like it's structured. And even if the topics are like, you know, for like podcast stuff, there's still like really good real life topics. 3 of us have met Nardvillin. Braylon and I live in the same state. So when I met Braylon on Twitch, like I had to temper myself very very strongly, and it's like, listen, don't be a fucking weirdo, because you're probably gonna see her in public because you live in the same state, so like, don't be fucking weird. And I was a little bit weird, but then we ended up meeting in person, and then I met Blaze. I didn't actually get to go to Braylon's wedding because it was my birthday weekend and I already had plans. I'm sorry. But I did drive out that way to meet Blaze and Reagan for breakfast. And Dana, we were actually just talking about that a couple days ago. We're going to have to figure out a way to get Dana to the US, and it's probably not going to be for TwitchCon because there are way fucking cooler things that we could do than TwitchCon when Dana comes out.
We were talking about this though, like at TwitchCon, because I stayed with people that I had never met before, like in a hotel. And like before I went, I was like, oh, I'm nervous. Like you don't know, like yeah, like you know the people well, you know, but there's still like a little bit of anticipation. And we were talking about like just how flawlessly it went, and everybody was chilling. And it's like when you are friends with people online and then you meet them in person, it is not like meeting somebody for the first time where you have to like figure out how you vibe. It is instantly good vibes. Like if you are a good friend with someone and you meet them online, like you might think like it might be awkward. And yeah, if you're like really young, there might be more awkwardness there just because young people tend to be like more awkward, I feel like, socially sometimes. But like we literally all vibed so hard. Like I loved meeting Justine. I met Nat. It was just like phenomenal. And there's just like something so special that when you meet your online friends, like you're already friends. There's no weirdness. There's no awkwardness. You're just like, oh, what's up? Like I know you. Like we're already, you know. And
It's
then
like-
that's just such a beautiful thing.
IRL
It was-
Discord chat, you know? Just,
Yeah.
just there.
It was terrifying to fly out for your wedding, Braylon. I mean, like, that's part of the reason why Reagan came, but also because he wanted to come. But having someone there as well with me did take a little bit of the stress off of that. But it was.
But then
it
when we
was
saw
great.
each other, we
It
were
was
like, "It's
actually-
you," and you were like, "It's you," and we're like, "This is so cool!" Like,
and your
it was
wedding
just
was
fun.
just so much fun. And then meeting Steph the next day, that was also great. It was really cool.
You
Oh,
probably
thanks
will
so
take a
much.
lot of photos if you meet your online friends. That tends to
Oh yeah,
happen.
you gotta take photos.
See, I feel like I've told the story quite a few more times, but like meeting Ali, she picked me up from the station. Sorry, that was my cat being rude. Sorry. Yeah, I met Ali in real life. She picked me up from the station. She was late and she couldn't find where it was. Just because traffic was like shit, and also like her sat nav didn't know where to go. And I was like, she was like, oh, I don't know where you are. And I was thinking like, okay, I'll walk around, see if I can find her. But I was legit like, is she gonna like, is she actually Ali, or is this like some random man who's gonna like kidnap me or like murder me? I'm like, this is it. This is how I die. Like, this is the end for me. Like, I remember like fully thinking that, and then like she pulled up in her car, and I was like, oh hey.
Oh, thank God you're a real person.
She's about to murder me, like, hi. And yeah, it was a little bit awkward at first, but only because we both have this problem with like actually making decisions. But we had done like a Google Doc like months in advance of what we were gonna do because we knew that we would both be really bad.
So
at
smart.
deciding what we were gonna do, so that was good.
That's-
And then the only real problem we had was like deciding what we wanted for lunch.
That's really hard. I will say, like when like the TwitchCon thing, like I was really nervous for like, are we gonna want to leave at the same time? Are people gonna be like, you know? And like, I was really surprised how well we all vibe together. Like it was really, really enjoyable. I have no doubt that Dana, when you meet us in person, we will act exactly the same as we are right now. We'll just be like, oh my gosh.
I like hanging out with people in person for me. I don't really do it a lot, to be honest with you. So
I don't either.
It's kind of like foreign territory. That's why I love Parallel Play so much, because that's what I do on the internet.
Me and you do that so
I
much.
prefer it.
Like literally, I
ideal.
just like forget that Steph is in a Discord call, and then like an hour later, she's like, "Hey, what's up?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah, ooh, we're in a call together. I totally forgot.
Yeah.
This is so nice."
Yes. It's just
Yeah.
even IRL. Like we could be maybe there's a TV show on that's the mutual thing that we're doing, but like I could be like drawing or something or crocheting or like I don't know. I don't really care what it is, but that's my favorite thing. I feel like that's why my husband and I get along so well as well, because we can just hang out in a Discord call and he's doing his
So
thing, I'm doing my
nice.
thing. It's-
Yeah.
We're still together.
One
Mhm.
thing I do find interesting though is like, so online friends to in real life friends seems a lot easier than trying to get your in real life friends to be online.
Totally. Because people are, if they're not used to the online world, you can't, like, they can't, like, switch their brain. Does, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's hard to,
Yeah.
like, become, like, I literally, like, if I join another Discord server, sometimes I'm like, why isn't anyone responding? Like, I'm like, I need friends who are, like, on Discord. That, like, if you want to be my friend, like, you need to, like, we need to be on Discord so that I could, like, how am I supposed to talk to you? It's like, this is the point that I've gotten to where I'm like, if you're not on Discord. Like, actually, I do use the hell out of my Instagram DMs. There's a lot of people that I talk to in Instagram DMs that, like, are not on Discord, but it's not as fun. Just come to Discord. It's
I
way
was
more
trying
fun.
to like
more
explain to
fun.
my friends during lockdown and everything that like just video call. It's gonna be so much fun. Like just video call. Like just press like join and like video call with me. And like even after lockdown, I was just trying to like I think one time we video called and then we watched a film on like Disney Plus. I think like Share Watch or something. But even like after lockdown, I was like it's so much like people like they're like, oh, I don't have time to like hang out because I'm really busy. And I was like, look, like that's fine, but like we could just like cool because then you don't have to like worry about getting ready to go, get
Don't have
into
to
the
drive.
place,
Yes. There's no travel
back.
time.
You're in your comfy place with your creature comforts.
You don't even have to be on
When you wanna eat
camera.
something, You can just
don't give
go
a
to the
shit.
kitchen, grab food, and come back. Like
Yes.
it's fine. But it's so hard to try and convince people in real life that like video chatting is like the way forward. Like,
Sometimes though,
just
do
so
you
many
find
things.
it's even hard to convince online friends? Like half the time, like somebody's like, "Do you want to voice chat?" I'm like, "No."
Same.
I'll sit in a call with you and I'll not talk. Which is why I absolutely love the lo-fi radio station. I'm like, just put me in there. It's so nice if like someone else hops in. I know Sam's been using it a lot too, to just like know that somebody is there without having to talk.
Yeah, I love that. I mean, I end up hanging out in my husband's Discord more. I haven't lately because they've been, I don't know what game they're playing, but it's loud and they have to do call outs to one another and they scream when they die, and I will fucking stab somebody if you scream in my ear one more time. Which is, it's my fault for being in that Discord, so I just leave. But it's nice.
I've been hanging out in a Discord with Reagan and his friends, and we've been playing Overwatch 2 for like the past weekend, and it has been fantastic. We have been staying up late every single night playing. It's so great.
But
Oh, I
that's
miss
like the
that.
best time when you have like a group. Like people will always make TikToks about how like they had like a group of gamers and they were all playing a game for like 6 months, and then they're like, oh, now you just go online and it says 0 people online, and like that happens with when you have like a good group. So like enjoy the hell out of it when you have a solid group all playing a game together and you're staying up late, because that is not gonna last. Like you need to really soak it in and enjoy it.
Well, this group, they're constantly in this server. They just kind of switch out games a lot. But right now they're all on Overwatch, so I'm
It's
like,
so fun.
yes,
Those
let's
are
go.
core memories.
I do love, like Lily said, channels with no video or voice. Like it's so nice sometimes to just know. Although I will say there are people, like I would get in a voice channel with Steph anytime because I know that she's not going to talk to me and that I'm probably not going to talk to her very much. So like when you have an understanding like that, I'm like, cool, I'll hop into VC all day. But if I have to like talk a lot, I'm like,
No,
can we
I
just
don't
can
want
we
the
have
obligation.
mics muted, please? You know, like I just want to be with somebody without having to chat.
So, like, here's what's fucked. IRL, awkward silence drives me insane. I have no problem with silence in a Discord call, though, because there's no obligation to say anything. I don't know how to sit in silence with someone without it being awkward in real life.
I freaking loved Among Us during lockdown. I played that with all my IRL friends. See, luckily I have IRL friends who are gamers. So then everybody just like pulls in their partner or their spouse who may not be a gamer, but like there's somebody that understands how it works. And we played Among Us, and it was so much fun. I mean, like, it would be like my sister and her boyfriend, and me and my husband and my roommate, and all the friends, and like my cousins, and we would just be yelling at each other and getting rowdy.
If only they came out with updates a little bit sooner. You know, like lobbies of
Mhm.
15 people. Freaking, what was it, 7, 8 people lobbies? Those are brutal. It's I had more people. we should book. We should do an Among Us super quick. We should do an Among Us. in
I've
the
always
watch
wanted
fit.
to try Among Us where everybody plays on their phone and you're in the same room as each other, because that would have to really up your lying skills so much. Like, a
amazing.
lot. Wouldn't that be fun? Because we always played Among Us with cams off, because I would literally be like freaking out when I'd be like, I wasn't in electrical. That was somebody else that you saw.
Those are
Among Us.
laugh, Brayden. Like, I'm like, I don't even know who this person is when you're playing Among Us. I'm like, she's mean. Like, she killed me, and no one knew that she was. And then, oh,
I
every time
lied
I'm like,
about it and convinced
you
everybody
sneaky
else it was
thief.
someone else.
Liar.
Among
Oh, I
Us
love it though.
in
It's so much fun when people you like are really nice and sweet, and then like Among Us comes out, they're like, "I'm gonna kill you. I'm gonna come and find you, and no one's gonna know."
Among Us in VR is top tier.
I want to try that so
And
I
it's
would
bad.
love to
so
try
much
that.
fun.
It looks so fun.
It's a lot of fun.
I didn't even know they
Definitely
had it in
recommend
VR.
Yeah. Well, it's in VR chat, but yeah. It looks the same.
Does anyone else have like fucking heart palpitations when they're the imposter? That
Yeah.
level of anxiety is not good for me.
I
That's
hate it, and like I never remember any of the room names. So people are like, "Where were you?" And I'm like,
Yeah, I'm like,
I
I don't know
fucking
where
know.
I was.
I
That's a
don't know where I
strategy,
was.
though. That's a strat
And
to
then
like
they think
play
I'm
dumb
lying. Yeah,
and
they think
pretend
I'm
you don't know where you
lying,
are. Is
even
a
though I
total strat.
really just don't know.
after
I
the
just
first
like
6
playing
months
hide and
though.
seek, where I can just say I'm the imposter. and then we
That's
can just-
why I always play hide and seek with like friends, because like unless like the other day like Steph was like, "Oh, we're playing Among Us with my husband," and I was like, "Do you guys play like feisty? Like, are you like gonna yell
Oh,
at each
I'm a
other and
sweat.
be like, where the fuck were you?"
I'm
and
a
I saw
sweat.
you, and like, because that's a kind of Among Us. Like, you need a bunch of boys to play that way because they get so rowdy, and I'm like, that's how I want to play. Otherwise, we'll
Like,
just play hide and seek, and everyone can have a good time, and we laugh, and it's fun. But
for
I
some
like a
reason,
saucy Among Us.
yeah, for some
That's how
reason,
it
my
was in
husband's group
VR
is like
chat.
chill. They're chill with the Mugas, which is great. Like they just want to play chill games. I'm like, then I come in, I was like, no, fuck, I'm playing sweaty. I'm playing to win. I will, whatever the case is. And it's hysterical because my husband's best friend cannot tell when I'm being sarcastic or serious. I guess it's my tone or something. I don't know. But wrong every time. It's fucking glorious. It's glorious.
It was funny playing hide and seek Among Us with Braylon and a load of like British people, because like,
Oh my god, I was
It
the
was hide
only
and
American.
but we were like proper like.
Oh,
Getting
like they were
each
like
other.
dragging on each other, and I was like, are they being mean right now? I couldn't tell if people were getting mad. You all were being like, I don't know what the correct word is, but like British, like I don't
Banter.
banter, sure. And everybody was like making
banter.
fun of each other and like cursing at each other and calling each other bitches. And I'm like, what is going on right now? I was like, do I need to like tell people to say sorry? Or like, and then they were all like laughing. I'm like, no, this has to be fine. This has to just be what they do, because like nobody seems upset. But I was so confused at first.
I never like
You
kind
have
of
to know,
understood
though,
that.
If we were being mean as a mod, I would have had to say something like.
It's true.
I wasn't gonna be like, oh, I hate all of you. Like, I mean, I did say that. Like, I did say that I hated them all, and I did say like very, like a big amount of swear words at everybody.
It was so funny.
As-
Whenever Dana swears a lot, I'm like,
Same. It always takes me by surprise.
mhm.
See, I have always sworn a lot. It's just kind of I don't know. I
Same.
feel like it's like a British thing at this point. Like, we swear a lot. So yeah, the fact that we were like swearing at each other was like genuine, just bants. It's just for the bants.
The bonds. I like
we
that.
all like each other. It was funny though.
In Ireland and the UK, it's low key friendly to swear at each other. That's funny.
Mm.
Well, now I know, and I won't be concerned when I'm in a room with 8 British people who are all going, "You fucking swanker," or stuff like that. I'm like, okay.
You did not say that.
Is that the word?
That's all I can think
That's
about.
way
Okay?
too polite.
There's a combination of a couple there, maybe.
Yeah. I think the amount of times we said we hated each other as well, like pure bants there.
Yeah.
I like to, it's the evil cackle as you kill someone and walk away.
My
You gotta-
favorite thing in Among Us
Proximity.
is when you kill somebody and there's one other witness and they run to the box, or you run to the box. You run to the button emergency meeting, and whoever gets there first, you just immediately say, "No, it was 100% you. It was not me."
Oh,
And I'll
yeah.
just fight that until the other person gets voted, even though it was me. And I'll go so hard. Like, I will I will throw you under the bus so hard and be like, "It definitely was not me."
See, it doesn't work that way for me. They always vote me out. The boys pretty much know. I do a lot of self-reports. It's kind of my shtick.
see? Yeah. Once you find out somebody's like tell, then you have to switch it up, because then we'll be like, "Oh, it's definitely a self-report." Like, Steph always self-reports.
So I chance it, right? I'll call out someone's name, but honestly, I had no idea where they were on the map. But a couple of times it's caught me up because they were with someone, and they're like, "There's no way it could have been them because they were with me." And I was like, "You guys are just covering for each
Yeah.
other because you're both imposters. Like,
Yeah.
you just gotta sell
that
it."
with me when I'm imposter, and they're like, "Oh no, I followed Dana. Like, she's not imposter." I'm like, "Okay, yeah, definitely." Because like, I have no fucking clue where I was. So brilliant.
Same, summer. I love to troll. I love to troll in Among Us. Just go stand on vents. Like, what do you mean? I was
But
doing
see,
it.
then I'll make a whole case after I kill someone why it's you, and you'll get voted out.
We
I just
need
like
to
doing
do
my tasks. I'm a simple pet. I like being a crewmate, doing my tasks, just chilling.
Dana even is like, "I love it when I die. Then I can just do
do.
my
I love-
tasks in peace and not have to walk through walls."
Yeah, I can
Goose
just
duck.
float to all the tasks, not worry about being killed. Oh, I love being dead. It's like the best. Like, if you get imposter and you kill me first, like, thanks. Like, I don't give a fuck. Like, I'm just chilling doing my tasks now.
It's like the thing that we say before every round ends, like, "Do your fucking tasks."
When I
get
played,
so annoyed when we're doing hide and seek and like I'm dead, I've done all my tasks. Like, just do your fucking task. There's one more task left. Do your fucking task. Oh, so much fun though. It's so much
When-
fun.
when I played with my group of friends, I don't know why. I don't know if I look guilty or I sound guilty or something, but they like kept on choosing me. I'm like, dude, it's really not me. And I'm like, this person has gotten it every single time, and y'all are still voting me out first, even though like I am not.
Bullies.
I was like, dude, go
They're
away.
bullying you.
Yeah, I get bullied
They're
too. It's
bullying me
okay.
hardcore.
But
You
see,
definitely have to have more than one girl, or else all the boys will bully you.
yeah,
It
but that's
was a
okay.
bunch of girls. It was another girl who kept choosing
Oh my God.
me.
Here's what you
I'm
do.
It's
You make
not
a list.
me.
You make a list starting from the first person that killed you to the last person that killed you, and every time you get imposter, you just go down that list. And it doesn't matter if they're in front of people, you just go and slit their throats. It doesn't matter. You're dead. You're done.
And Reagan's tactic is to say, I'm the imposter when he's not the imposter. So like it
But then
really
there's people that
messes
say
with
they're the
people.
imposter when they are the imposter, and then people are like, "Oh, well, it's not them," and then it fucking is them, and you're like,
Yeah,
"What?"
that's what
Big
happened.
brain.
It's a brain game.
It's big brain.
It's a brain game.
It's so
I'm
funny.
not cut out for this. Give me hide and seek anytime.
I love it.
Hide and seek is super fun though. It's honestly the best.
I do remember there was like a stage where we would always play like Among Us in Brayden's Discord, like constantly, like
Oh yeah, I
just,
remember
like
that.
solidly like play it, and then like with all games, like you just
Mhm.
fall off the wagon with it, like.
The core memory.
Y'all got busy.
Or just in general with games, like you just kind of fall out of like a new game comes along or you play something else. It's just the way it is.
Exactly.
You gotta make time for it. That's the thing. So like we've said it before, I'll say it again. We should do something when we do our chatting off weeks, and whether it's like we just play a Mugas, or I want to start a Stardew farm with you guys.
I
do
started
have-
one and no one joined it.
I didn't know we started one.
Oh,
Dana
thank you.
joined, but no one else did.
I don't know
I
if
stayed
you
awake
guys.
until like 2 in the morning so that you could play it your evening.
Exactly, yeah.
I don't know if you
feel
guys
like I was told about this.
have watched Sophie play Stardew with her mod squad, but she is exactly how I am. Like, she's like, you're not allowed to mine. You have to go over here. She's like micromanaging everyone. I'm like, I don't know if
She
you guys
did
want to
mine.
play with me because I'm gonna be like, you put the storage thing in the wrong spot. This is not correct.
Okay,
I-
that's how
no, we
Reagan
should.
plays,
We should.
so
Because I'd be
I
like,
could
then move it,
totally deal
Braylon.
with it.
If you want it in a certain spot, just move it. And then next time I go there, I will complain, where the fuck is my stuff? And you'd be like, I moved it. I'm like, okay,
See.
fine. Why does it have to go over here, though? I want it over here. And then you'd be like, because I want it over there. And then we're just going to argue. It's great. Let's do this.
Friends who argue together stay together.
How does Kelly know about the Stardew
No,
farm and I
Kelly,
don't
we
know about the
still
Stardew
haven't.
farm?
I asked you guys, and everyone was like, "Yeah, we're gonna do it." And then no one joined, except for Dana.
Was I high?
You have a farm.
No.
Did we write it down? So we should
I
make a
mean,
channel.
It was in the morning, so I don't know.
Yes,
Maybe
I was
we
high.
were.
Yes.
We have 2 farms actually. We have
Yeah,
the
we have
one that
2.
we did because Steph was going to join us, and then I don't know what happened. I think she got busy or something on the day. And then we went back to our one, so we didn't do too much on the other one.
So we have
Okay.
2.
It's kind of
Life
coming
got
back
away.
to me. All right. Well, I'll have to pick
So
that up with you
basically,
guys.
It's all Steph's fault. It's
Basic. That's honestly, it's
Nah,
probably
I
why I
blame
didn't host the
Breland.
farm. It's probably why I just didn't follow the host.
Don't blame me.
Super down. So this is actually a really great question. How has the podcast changed our lives? Except for the meetings, like we found a topic, thought we need to discuss this 100% all the time. We actually brainstorm once a quarter too for everything we want to talk about, and just try to have a little bit of structure around it. But 100%. We even have a channel too in Discord. If you guys ever have topics or there's stuff that you guys want to hear us talk about, we got you on that.
You all should join the Discord.
See.
I think the podcast has changed my life in that it's made me like examine more parts of myself I maybe wouldn't have examined. Like, just made me more self-aware about things, and kind of like what Steph touched on, like having a space to talk about stuff that you know is like a safe space essentially, which like sounds cliche, like safe space, but like it really is just a space where you can like be open and like speak your mind, even if that is like something that's concerning or like something that somebody else might like judge you for if they heard you say, I think just having that openness has been really helpful to just like, I feel like this has just really catapulted my personal development and self-growth, and like it's almost like just like having people to check you, you know what I mean? Like someone that's not your spouse. Like your spouse is supposed to check you. They're supposed to say like, hey, I'm trying to make you be better. Maybe that wasn't the best thing or whatever. But having like a safe space where you have a bunch of friends with different perspectives and different ideologies and different like worldviews to kind of check you. I don't know. I think that's just like the most impactful thing, is to have a place where you can be like, I'm concerned about this or whatever. And people can, kind of give you input and not judge you about whatever that is.
Like
No
life
one's
tickets.
Stupid either. Like,
Yeah,
if
no
you
one's
say
gonna.
something, no one like goes, "Oh, what a fucking idiot!" Like, are you serious? Like, no one,
Could you
no one ever
imagine?
says that.
I mean,
Yeah,
I kind
we're
of
just, like,
could.
Like, some of the things like I say, I'm sure like people think, "Oh my god, like why do you think that?" It's very clearly not that, but we're always met with kindness and we're always met with respect, and it's nice. It's nice to have that space, like Brandon said, a safe space. I say a lot of the time, like the things we talk about in the episodes help. Definitely me, at least.
Same.
Like I can only speak for myself, but like when we were talking about like friendships and stuff and how we like deal with them and like ways for dealing with them, I for sure got so much out of that. Definitely, and I'm still getting stuff out of that now.
It's Because it's not an echo chamber. It's like life tickets with people that you've built relationships with. Like, these 3 ladies don't know everything about me, but they know a damn good amount from what I've shared. And what's even better is a lot of our conversations are in text. So we can go back and reference, and we have definitely called each other out on things. And it's like, hey, well, over here you said this. Like, why are you, what changed between that and now? And I mean, most of us have either been in or are actively in therapy. So I've talked to my therapist about situations that I've encountered in the last year with the podcast and the group of friends that I've like curated on the internet. Like, it's important. It's important to have unbiased, like, third-party opinions about things. That's how you grow as a person. That's how you become a more well-rounded person. Echo chambers are bad. I think that's the point that I'm trying to make.
Yeah. Were you gonna say something, Blaze?
Yeah, I was
Okay.
gonna say, I think the podcast has changed my life by giving me a space to really just like talk to friends, because I don't have any friends in this area, because like I graduated college during the pandemic, so like, and moved to a new city, so I didn't really get to meet any friends during that time, and all my IRL friends moved to other states, so it's just giving me a spot.
When my therapist asked me, what does your support systems look like? Like, you guys were a huge one for me. Like, because I really just have like my husband and my family, and like my family is great support as well, but not for like the nitty gritty. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to go to my mom and like ask her for help on like some personal, I don't know, like I just, that like they're great, and but like not in the same way that we can talk about things so openly with you guys, like, and it's just so helpful to know that like I think I told my therapist, like, no matter what happens, like if I need to talk about anything, like I have a space and I know that someone's going to respond.
Yes.
Like, that's pretty crazy if you think about it. And not just a random person. Like, obviously you could go post in Discord and in like the venting channels or whatever, but to have people that like truly know you and want to push you to be the best that you can be, and like it's just a really beautiful thing. That's very helpful, and it's a good little support system.
And that's a key right there, right? Someone will answer. So it's like there's
Yeah.
never an obligation for every single one of us to comment on something. A lot of times someone will throw something out. Sometimes it sits for a couple days, and then someone will pop in and like we think about it. And then we come back and we reply, and there might be a little bit of back and forth dialogue, and then someone else jumps in like, hey, to add to that, that's a good fucking point, backing that. And it's just like, it's life tickets. I don't know. I wish that there was a better word for it, but that's what it is. It's life tickets. You don't want to bombard your husband with all these dumb questions.
Exactly. That's the other thing too. Like, my husband is there for like the big stuff, but like little content things and like content drama or like stuff that's going on online, like, it's like you guys are a better option because you get it. You're in it, I don't need to be bugging him with stuff like that. Something that helped me in my relationship is knowing that your partner does not need to be the answer for everything, and they shouldn't be. And that's a huge burden to put on somebody. If they are you need to have a support circle that is more than just your spouse.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah.
you need to have other people to lean on.
And that does not mean social media. It cannot just be your husband and your Instagram account or your Twitter account. Humans are social creatures, and as much as I say it, I fucking hate people. You need people in your life.
Though.
It just
At the end of the day, like, you don't really hate people. You hate stupid people.
I have peaks and valleys. I definitely do, and I have thresholds. So I feel like truly in my core, if I was the last human being on the face of the planet for as long as I had my stimulation, like the crafting and the art and the media, I think I'd be okay, right? But at the end of the day, like, for me to be a happy, successful human being with good mental health, I have to surround myself with actual IRL human beings and have conversations and like invest and participate in the world. You have to
that's
do
being
that.
a human, though. We're social creatures, right? We are not
Yeah.
meant to live solitary lifestyles. People
No.
go, if you put someone in solitary confinement, it does not take very long before they go actually insane. Like, we are not meant to be alone.
You need stimuli. So
Yeah.
it's branching out and just getting comfy and then building that environment for yourself.
But
curate
We've
it.
also done a very good job at like my living space needs more enrichment. Have you seen those TikToks where it's like you're at the zoo and it's like more enrichment? I think people who are maybe chronically online or just spend a lot of time online like we do a really good job of like making sure that we have the things that we need to like if we do have to be alone, we're we can we can handle it
Stimuli.
temporarily.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. But it's humans take time to build those relationships with. So I know the instant gratification is definitely a problem that I struggle with too. I want to jump into those friendships. I want to be good friends from the beginning, but it takes
That's
time
hard,
to
yeah.
grow that shit. So it's energy. You have to invest energy, and that's usually
Yeah.
where I fall short with long-term friendships is I don't invest the energy into them because like it has to be reciprocated and people are
Yeah.
messy and it's never a perfect system and it's a lot. But
You have to be willing to give the amount that you're willing to give without getting anything back. Like, yeah, everybody has an amount of which energy that they're willing to give out and being okay with not getting anything back. And you have to figure out what that is. Because if you give too much, then you're going to feel like poo poo
Yep.
if you get nothing in return.
cup is empty. So
Yeah.
it's a
I
fine
think
line.
Lily says that's something a lot of neurodivergent people can relate to. I think so too. I think it comes with the territory of being neurodivergent that when you meet someone, you like friend bomb them because you're just so excited. I think people that are neurodivergent also sometimes in relationships have a problem with like love bombing. Like, not that we're narcissists, but we just are so fucking excited about something new, and it's like really hard to contain that like a normal person.
I
Something
will
my-
never forget my best friend who I've known since 4th grade. She will never let me live this down. The very first day that I met her, I bombarded her with a bunch of questions, introducing her to our other best friend and stuff like that, introducing her. She was new to the school. I wasn't. I had been at the school for a long time.
Oh, so you just
So
like became
I
her
just-
tour guide. You were like,
yeah,
I am your guide.
went so hard into it, and it's funny because like we're still best friends to this day, and like
Is your
at
friend
the end of the
neurodivergent
day,
too?
she is my diehard. Yes,
I
Sh-
love
she
that.
is? Okay, so that probably, I was going to say, that makes a huge difference because
a
if you
little
meet
bit.
up with another neurodivergent person and you both are just like, because
Yeah.
you're both so excited, like, I think that's like why it's important to have friends who also have neurodivergencies because you're like, you understand that this is like just excitement and it's not
Mhm.
like I'm trying to manipulate you or anything like that. It's just like pure raw energy and excitement. And like, if you ever hung out with a neurodivergent person for the first time and you just like, it ends up being like you hang out for forever and you're just talking nonstop and you like can't
Yep.
leave. You're like trying to like find an exit, but you can't because you're both just having such a good time.
Yes. Some advice my therapist gave me with that overwhelming like other people feeling. She's like something that might be good. So lean into that energy, but write down, like put it through a filter. Write down all of the things that you want to say or do with this person, and then just kind of like maybe pick like one a day, right? Think about it from the other end. Like how many questions, before you start to get annoyed with people? And I'm like, any. And she's like, okay, well, start with one. And just kind of reference it back. So it's like, funny story. My husband actually caught me doing that with him. I would document, like when you would tell me like his favorite thing or something, I have like an Evernote note at the time.
Yeah.
Now it's in Notion. But I literally have a list of things that like my husband makes him happy, things that he hates, foods that he doesn't like, how he likes certain fast food, like when we go out to eat, if he doesn't get mayo on something, I document it. And now, 7 years into the relationship, he relies on me for it. We'll go to a restaurant. He's like, what do we like here again? Can you pull up the note for it? It's just like, yes, I can.
Oh, I love that. That's great. Sometimes making decisions is hard. Decision paralysis is a very true thing.
Oh,
I feel like a
God.
lot of neurodivergent people struggle with, especially. Too many choices.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm lucky. I'm just like following my intuition around everywhere I go. I'm like, that feels right. Somebody's like, why? I'm like, don't know. Couldn't tell you. There is no why. It's just a feeling inside my body that says this is correct.
That's exactly how I am.
Like,
as
I just
well.
am following my intuition everywhere
Yep.
I go. Like, couldn't tell you any rhyme or reason or logic behind it. Just feels good.
I don't trust mine that much.
You can get better at trusting it. That's something you can practice.
I think what stops me is within my role, like my job. I can't just go with my gut. If I feel like something is a good marketing campaign, I have to have like something to back
Someone
it.
to prove it. Yeah.
I gotta have like data to support
You have
it.
to have data. Yep. You can't just be like, this is the right one because it feels good. Like that doesn't
No.
work in marketing.
No, because everything else in my life, like I try to just keep the same momentum. I guess I don't know. I'm having less and less capacity to be two completely different people. I can't be a free bird at home and rigid at work. There has to be a happy medium between the two, which is effort, which is aggravating.
To Lily's question, do you have a therapist who specifies in neurodivergence? I can answer first. I'm fine to answer that. I do not. And there's definitely some cons to that. Like she for sure doesn't fully understand every way in which my brain works. But at the same time, I think that she was still equally as helpful. Also, at the same time, I wasn't going to her for specifically like ADHD struggles. I was just going to her for like general life struggles. So I think it kind of depends. Like, if you were looking for something because you were like, my executive dysfunction and like my impulsivity and like that kind of stuff was like really bothering you, I'd maybe try to talk to somebody who specializes in that because they might not know. But if you're just going for like general like anxiety, depression, life stuff, I think it doesn't necessarily matter as much.
Yeah, so with my therapist, I went back to her, like, because I had her for a while, and then I, like, the COVID happened, and then, like, I just kind of never went back to her. It's one of those things where she's like, oh, you can just message me when you want to come back, and then obviously, like, I never did. Because I gotta have, like, a scheduled, like, it has to be
Yeah.
scheduled in already. So then I came back to her after I broke up with my ex, and I had all these things that I wanted to talk about, like, obviously dealing with all of that stuff, and I was also like, oh, and I also think I might have ADHD. And then she was like, immediately she was like, well, obviously I can't diagnose that. And I was like, well, yeah, I know that. And then she's like, do you want to go away and get that diagnosis before you carry on any further with me? And I was like, well, no, because I kind of need the help now. And
You're like, I need relationship help.
yeah, because like I'm still waiting for an appointment to like, and that was like a year ago. So yeah, I think maybe she said that because like obviously if I did if like I came back and said, oh, I have ADHD and I want help with this and stuff, like she would probably refer me to somebody else. But for general stuff, she's been like really great and really lovely. Actually, I haven't seen her probably for like a year now. I should probably sort that out, but you know. I would say she's definitely not specifying in neurodivergence. She specifies in Reiki.
Oh, nice, like energy stuff.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and hypnotherapy as well as normal therapy.
I think if you what I used to do before I had a therapist was when I was on ADHD meds is I went to a psychiatrist, and the psychiatrist knew all about ADHD and everything. And granted, she was not like a therapist, like she didn't like ask me as many questions and stuff and try to like dig really deep, but she gave me so much information about ADHD that I did not know before because she was like that her brain knew everything about it. So like that can be really helpful if you're looking for somebody who specializes in ADHD but you can't like find a therapist. You can try to go to a psychiatrist. Granted, they probably are going to want to try to give you meds, but I think that could be kind of like a workaround if you wanted to, even just maybe somebody would meet with you like once or twice to kind of, if you had like an ADHD specific question, because the psychiatrists do know lots and lots of stuff, more than your therapist probably, because they have to medicate people, and so I think they have to have like higher levels of understanding of disorders and stuff.
I was very
But some
strategic.
psychiatrists are mean and they're not going to help you with anything, and they're just there to get your meds.
They're just there to give meds. I remember
they are
that.
a doctor, so it's a little different, but you might be able to find a good one who knows a lot about the disorder.
There are many that double, right? Many therapists that also have like their psychiatry, psychiatric, whatever credentials, so they can issue medication, but they will dig in. I was really strategic when I started going through my therapy journey. I think I started like around when I was 20, and I specifically sought out a child, like someone that deals with childhood trauma. Because I'm like, might as well start from like the very beginning. This is kind of, I feel like, where shit started. So let's start with the mind of a child and let's grow into that. Through her, she didn't specialize in ADHD, but she obviously dealt with a lot of kids with childhood trauma that also had ADHD. Like, fucking imagine that those two could potentially be linked. So I saw her on and off for probably about 5 years, and we dug into things and we brought things to the surface. She taught me a lot of coping mechanisms for ADHD, and she was one of the first people that ever told me, she's like, okay, well, you now understand that you have ADHD, which means that you have to live your life differently than what somebody without ADHD is going to have to live their life with. It doesn't mean you have to like do anything crazy, but you are going to have to put in a little bit of extra effort and go above and beyond to make things work for you. So it's like through her, which I ended up seeing it on TikTok, but it was so funny because she was the first person that told me, she's like, you know, we talked about food and how much money I waste on food and how that was a stressor in my life, like being broke because my groceries are always going bad. She suggested, why don't you put your condiments in the bottom drawers and put all your fruits and vegetables in the door?
Yeah, you need to be able to
And I just thought it was the most ridiculous thing I'd ever heard in my life. And then years later, I finally did it. The second therapist I found just recently, which she specialized in doing 6-month stints. Like, she's like, I've never had a patient for longer than like 9 months. If you're seeing me for 9 months, you've got maybe something a little bit bigger and I got to refer you out. She did a lot of, I think it's called EDMR therapy with me, so that helped. She specialized very specifically in ADHD. So I kind of found her as more of like a life coach combination, and then to kind of dig in to some of the shit that was going on.
At one point when I was opening my business, I was like 24 years old, and I was like, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. And this is terrifying. And I was unmedicated at the time because I said, when I get through college, I'm never taking ADHD meds again. I was on them for 17 years. I was like, I don't like this. I think they can be really helpful if you need them, but I think it should be used as more of like a step to like get you to a point where you don't need them. Like, I don't think you're supposed to be on Adderall for your whole life. That's just my personal preference. But I did hire an ADHD life coach who was a woman with ADHD, obviously not a doctor. And I met with her, and she would give me homework, and she was like a 6-year-old woman. She taught me so much, and that was really helpful. And obviously it wasn't as like nitty gritty into like the deep, dark things of my life. But if you're looking for somebody who can just like give you a ton of like coping mechanisms and teach you things and like help you learn how to like make your life work for you as someone with ADHD, that can be a super great option as well, is hiring a life coach that specifies, or an ADHD coach. Sometimes they're called. Yeah. Can be really, really helpful, because that's usually somebody with ADHD who has lived a life, and they're older and they have years worth of coping mechanisms and knowledge and things, and they can kind of tailor it to help you best with like whatever you're struggling with. If
it's an
school,
investment.
or maybe you're like planning your wedding and you're like, like whatever it is, you can get one to kind of help you work through. And she taught me lots of coping mechanisms.
I want to get one of those next. I want to, like, I have a marketing mentor, but I want to find like an ADHD marketing mentor, because I feel like there has got to be a better fucking way to keep track of all of this stuff with as like insane my brain is. Like, you can't tell me that I'm not capable of doing this job because I'm a
Like
little
somebody
bit ADHD or a lot.
Like someone who would come in and like help you organize your home. There's people that can come in and like help you organize your life, like from an ADHD standpoint.
I need one of those too. I need someone to come and teach me how to decorate, because I swore it off for so many years renting, and I was like, oh, I'll decorate when I get a house. I'll develop a sense of style then, and I never did it. And now, I live like I rent. It's terrible, and I own
I'm
my
the
home.
same. There's like nothing hung up in my house.
Nothing.
On the walls. I've lived here for 5 years.
We'll help each other. I'll do yours, you do mine. I do want to look into an ADHD life coach, though. Last time I looked at pricing, it was a little bit insane. The one I was looking at anyway. It's an investment for sure.
I think I paid literally like $800 for 8 weeks with her.
Oh, I was looking at something way more expensive. Mine was like
Okay.
$2,400 for 6 months or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a day by day, guys. Like, you take it in bite-sized pieces, and I don't know. Good advice if you're ADHD. If something's bothering you or you feel like you're dropping the ball, write that shit down and start thinking through the ways to fix it. And you don't have to think of it on your own. If you had all the fucking answers, if you had all the answers, right? But you don't. Lean on your support systems. Throw it out in the abyss. We have a great Discord. Braylon has a great Discord. Dana has a great Discord. I haven't been in Blaze's Discord in 6 months, so I don't know what it's like in there. But it's probably super great too.
Thanks for the Discord plug. But no, I'm kidding. I was trying to think of how I got diagnosed with ADHD very young. And so I was trying to think of how I got through it. And I don't know, like, I feel like it was all my parents or just watching my brothers. Like, I didn't go through therapy or anything like that. I think I'm just the type of person who really learns by other people's experiences.
I also
And my own. So it's just been trial and error, I feel
I'm, like,
like.
the same way, and even if I read something sometimes, I'm like, oh, I can implement that right now, and I do, and then I'm better. And I'm like, that's kind of cool. Like, I'm the same way, Blaze. Like, it's just, I don't know, my parents, I had a lot of parental support as a kid.
Mm-hmm.
And I've always felt like someone who just is good at handling whatever life throws at me. Like, I'm just like, my hairstylist gave me this amazing analogy where she said literally she is like a tree in a tropical storm. The tree is not going anywhere. It is deeply rooted. You might be moving around a bit, but like that storm's not going to knock you down, right? And I was like, that's me. Like, you need to become a tree in a tropical storm. Whatever life throws at you, you're deeply rooted. You're going to be all right.
I love that.
If there's one thing my parents taught me, it's how to be persistent and to basically go with all the punches life throws at you.
I love that. Jewel said
Absolutely.
TikTok as well. TikTok has been, I can't believe I got diagnosed with ADHD when I was so young, and I still have learned so much from TikTok. Like, it is crazy. The ability for people to just have like this shared knowledge of like, I gotta try this, and I tried this, and this worked for me, and I found a solution to this. I've learned so much from being on that app about ADHD. It's crazy.
Of course, throw it out there. Take it with a grain of salt. Do your own research. There's a lot of stuff that's popped up on TikTok where I'm just like, why?
Yeah, well, that definitely you gotta, you filter out the nonsense, but
But then there's also like so many things where it's like I am constantly saying to myself, "Don't put it down, put it away," and I got that from TikTok.
Yep, I love that. Don't put it down, put it away. That's a great one. I use that all the time.
I love
Little things
surrounding
like that.
myself with like content and knowledge. Like Notion,
helpful.
Twitter is fantastic because it's like
Yeah.
even if you're not using those tips immediately, like same thing with TikTok. You know, you get in that algo and it starts serving you things that you thinks you want to see, and a lot of it's really fucking helpful.
Yeah.
The freaking it took a TikTok for me to put my condiments in my bottom drawer, and
Yeah. I love
it's
that.
great. It's super great.
This has been such a lovely podcast episode, live episode today. How fun.
We're gonna start
Dana
doing
has
these
one
more
thing to
often.
say.
Yeah, I did. I put it in the chat so we didn't accidentally end the stream before I could say my thing.
I'm sorry, I can't pull chat up because I
That
ruined
happens,
cameras.
it's
I need to do it
all
on my phone. I tried. I was like, shit.
No, it's just we ended up changing the subject a little while ago, and I before I had a chance to say my thing, so I wrote it
Go
down
ahead.
so I didn't forget. I just wanted to say like Braylon said about how this is a very big like support network. Like, I agree. I don't really have like anyone really. Like, my mom doesn't really give feedback. Like, I ask her about how she feels about things and she's like, well, that's just the way it is, and I'm like, okay. Whereas like I actually get insight from you guys, I actually get like feedback and respect, and it's nice to have. And it's really weird, like I always used to say like I don't really have any friends, like I don't have many friends, and now like I have friends, like I have you guys, and it's really weird for me to be like I have friends. Because I'm so used to people being like, oh, Dana doesn't really have any friends. Oh, she has like 2 friends and that's it. Like, and that's been my whole life. And now like I have loads. Like I have like everyone, all you guys, and it's really nice.
At
for
least
sure.
7.
I have a quick statement. Only having 2 friends is not a bad thing.
This is also true.
It depends on the 2 friends. Like
Okay, yes. If they're good friends, only having 2
Yeah.
friends is not bad.
I mean, if you don't really like those 2 friends, are they really friends? Can you be friends with people that you don't
Very true.
like?
I mean, at school, like yeah, that is like yeah.
Sounds like an
for sure At
acquaintance.
school, like.
Definitely more of an acquaintance. If I don't like you, we are not friends.
That's a good point. But yeah, definitely quality over quantity. But it is so nice being able to, if I need to talk to people, being able to talk to you guys. I also have a support network with my lovely mods as well. So
Friendship
I
is
just
a
wanted to
conscious
jump in
decision.
because I didn't get a chance to say about the support networks.
Thank you for not making me cry again, by the way. I thought you were gonna get sappy again. I was like, I'm fucking leaving. Crying twice
I
in
love
one
you
day.
guys.
I ain't never gonna stop loving you, bitch.
Bitch.
That's what I was going for.
What a song.
I had to. Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Tina.
But yeah, I love these girls. Like, I love these ladies so much.
You guys are lovely. Alrighty. I do think that we gotta wrap this up though, unfortunately. I hope you guys had an amazing time. Something that I
did.
neglected to do, I neglected to find somebody to raid. Does anybody have a suggestion? The neglect is real with this one. Apologies.
Somebody's online. Doc
I-
is online.
I don't know who
Brit
those
was
people
online.
are.
Sophie's online. Well, Charlie. Auto General.
Oh,
Wait,
Um,
Sophie has a
I
different
saw that
channel?
There was a talk show and podcast.
a different-
live, and
different
it was
Sophie.
us.
Oh,
I don't have
That-
anyone that's doing podcasts though, so that'll just either be Britfa, Doc.
The Zelda cast is live again.
I'm fine to rate whoever though.
yeah. Yeah, my only podcast that's live is a cannabis podcast. What about Selendra? Selendra. I always say her name wrong. She is always
I
so
don't know who
lovely.
that is. I'm
Oh,
fine
I
with
love
that.
her.
She's
She is
cool.
lovely.
I like her.
She is the
Alright.
best.
Bet. All right, guys, let me get my stuff back up here. It is so appreciated that you guys took the It's gonna end in 15 seconds. Shit, copy the raid message. I'm sorry I fucked this up. I'll see you guys later though. Bye.